Well, good morning. What's wrong with your Bobcat? This morning I've got a T650 that broke off a fitting on the bob-tach cylinder. It's the cylinder that releases your bucket or attachment, whatever you've got on the front. This is not an uncommon problem. Let me show you what happened. So here's the fitting on the cylinder. This hooks to your arms. That's what raises and lowers your levers to release your bucket. So like I said, this is not an uncommon problem. They break off quite often. So one option is go pick up a new cylinder, 600 bucks, put it on and keep going. But there's a cheaper option. Let me show you how we do that. First I need to get the cylinder off. Luckily this has a two-piece line set. I've already taken them off and capped the lines. Now we remove the bolts out of the cylinder and the cylinder just pops off. In theory, one-handed. So there we have the cylinder and the lines. I'm just gonna take the whole thing back to the shop. Let's get back and get it fixed. All right, welcome to the shop. So here's the cylinder we took off this morning and the rain finally stopped, so that's why we're in this beautiful shop. Here's what we're going to use. This is just a regular JIC fitting that you get at the hydraulic shop or wherever. They're only about $1, and we're going to cut the threads off right at the bottom here, and we're just going to put it on there and weld it on. This one's actually been re-welded before, and customer just broke the fitting off above the weld, so it wasn't the weld that failed, it was the fitting. So we're going to cut that off, but I also want to pull the cylinder apart because we want to reduce any type of contamination from getting in there. So with my spanner we're going to pull the gland out and slide the rod out, and that way when we grind and cut up here we can wash out the cylinder and keep some of that debris out of the hydraulic system. Here's our rod. Let's get this cut off. Alright, so we got all that old weld off in the original fitting, and yeah, there is some debris down in that hole. And that's why we wanted to take the rod out and clean the cylinder from the inside. So I'm going to get my fitting cut and get all this cleaned up and get it prepped and ready for weld. We'll be right back. So we're all prepped and ready to weld. I got the fitting cut, and there's a coating on the hydraulic fitting that we also want to grind off. Part of welding is the prep work, so you want to make sure that all the paint and debris is off this surface, all the hydraulic oil is off, and all that coating is off the hydraulic fitting. So I'm just going to center it up over the hole, find my welder, get it tacked up and weld it on. I'm also using a flux core welder, so every time we do a weld we want to clean that off. Just clean it off every time so that we got a good clean surface. So anyways, all right, so we got the fitting welded on. Man, this little Miller-Matic 211 flux core welder, I mean, it just does an amazing job for what it is, being a little 110. Well, it's a 110 220, but usually when I'm in the field, I just run that on 110 and just get killer welds off of it. Never had any complaint. But again, a lot of that is in the prep work and making sure that you clean it up with a wire brush every time, you know, you start and stop. Just get that flux out of the way. Anyways, so I just got the inside of the cylinder clean again. So I've cleaned the inside of that cylinder multiple times, and it is spotless. So let's get our rod put back in. Just a little. Saw just a little trash in the threads there on the gland nut. That's all there is to it. I'm gonna get a little paint on the fitting, and I'm also going to pressure test it. I'm going to take compressed air, put it into the fitting, and hold that compressed air there. Then I'll spray some soap around it just to make sure. But that weld's clean as can be. I don't think I'm going to have any issues. But we are going to check it before we take it back and put it on the machine. So yeah, we fixed this for about $1, and I don't know, a little bit of labor. It's better than buying a $600 cylinder. So awesome. Let's get it painted, cleaned up. We're gonna get it put on the